Your cat is sitting at the table, watching you. That particular look you've learned to read as, "Let me try some." You break off a piece. He eats. You think, "There, I treated him, did something nice, took care of him." That's exactly the moment you might be slowly hurting him. Not out of malice, out of ignorance. Because some things on this list look like care and turn out to be accumulated damage that builds quietly without a single signal from him. And point 5, about a product that's in most homes right now, in several different spots, and that you've never thought about in this context, will change how you look at your kitchen and your bag. 8 foods, let's go. 1. Onions and garlic. You've probably heard that onions are dangerous for dogs. Cats are a different story, and worse. Onions, garlic, leeks, shallots, and any other allium plants contain compounds, thiosulfates and organic sulfides, that destroy your cat's red blood cells. The mechanism is called hemolytic anemia. Red blood cells start breaking down from the inside, oxygen stops being transported properly through the body, and your cat's system starts reacting as if it's an internal bleed. The kidneys filter out the remains of the destroyed cells. If the destruction is fast, the kidneys can't keep up. But that's not even the most important part. What matters most, cooking doesn't destroy the toxic compounds. Fried onion in a sauce, garlic powder in a seasoning, onion in a broth, pasta with leeks, all of it stays dangerous after any temperature. A 4-kilogram cat needs just 5 grams of onion to trigger the hemolytic process. That's a quarter of a small onion. 1 clove of garlic. Symptoms: lethargy, pale gums, rapid breathing, dark urine, show up 3 to 4 days after eating. By that point, the damage is already done. Look at what you're sharing from your plate. Anything with onion or garlic in any form, sauce, broth, seasoning, roasted vegetables, remove it permanently. No exceptions, no, just a tiny bit. 2. Milk. This one is about one of the most persistent images from childhood. The bowl of milk, a happy cat. It looks like care, it looks right. Most adult cats are lactose intolerant. The enzyme lactase, which breaks down milk sugar, is actively produced in kittens. They need their mother's milk in the first weeks of life. Then production drops. By adulthood, most cats have almost no lactase left. This isn't a disease or an anomaly, it's normal for an adult mammal. Humans are one of the few animals that keep drinking milk after weaning, and only because some people retained a mutation that lets them digest lactose. Undigested lactose reaches the large intestine, where it becomes fuel for bacteria. Fermentation begins. The result? Gas, diarrhea, cramps, intestinal inflammation. Your cat won't show you he's in pain after a bowl of milk. He'll just leave, lie down in another room, and endure it. You'll think he's resting after eating. You'll put down another bowl tomorrow. Small amounts of milk rarely cause acute symptoms, which is exactly what creates the false sense of safety. But regular lactose in the diet builds chronic intestinal inflammation that gradually impairs nutrient absorption. Replace milk with water, fresh, in a clean bowl, changed daily. If you want to give something with a milky feel, there are lactose-free cat treats made exactly for this reason. 3. Tuna. He asks, you open the can, he eats with pleasure. You think, finally, something he actually likes. It looks like care. It becomes a problem if it's every day. Cats can't synthesize taurine on their own. Unlike most mammals, this amino acid has to come from food. Taurine is critical for heart function. It supports the contractility of the heart muscle and the structure of the retina. Canned tuna contains significantly less taurine than a cat needs if eaten regularly. With chronic deficiency, dilated cardiomyopathy develops. The heart's chambers expand, the walls thin, and the heart starts struggling. That's a diagnosis you get on an ultrasound. And by then, it's already in a serious stage. No warnings on the way there. Something else happens at the same time. The smell of tuna is so much more intense than any other protein that your cat's olfactory system registers it as a super stimulus. Regular food tastes bland after this, literally at the neurochemical level. She starts refusing to eat and waiting for tuna. You think she's being picky. What you've actually done is create an addiction, out of love, from a can, one spoonful at a time. Canned tuna. Once a week as a treat, never as a dietary staple, even if she won't eat anything else. 4. Grapes and raisins. There's a strange story here, and it's the strangeness that makes it frightening. Grapes and raisins cause acute kidney failure in cats and dogs. This is documented across many clinical cases. The toxicity is reproducible. The mechanism, unknown. The toxic compound has not been identified. Not one toxicologist can tell you the molecule that destroys kidneys, because it hasn't been found. Research continues. No answer. What is known? The doses at which kidney failure develops are unpredictable. Some cats have an acute reaction after just a few berries. Others show no visible symptoms after significantly more. That unpredictability is exactly what makes grapes especially dangerous. There is no safe threshold to stay below. The first signs of poisoning, vomiting, lethargy, loss of appetite, appear within a few hours. Then the kidneys start failing. Symptoms of kidney failure in cats: changes in urine output, intense thirst or none at all, apathy, the smell of urea on the breath. That's already the late stage. Raisins are worse than fresh grapes. Higher concentration. One raisin that fell off a muffin onto the floor is not whatever. Grape leaves in a vase on the table, also a question mark. No grapes, no raisins, ever. No dose that's still safe, because that dose doesn't exist. Pause here. You live with a creature that has no way to report pain. Not because there's no pain, but because millions of years of evolution gave cats one instinct: hide weakness. A solitary predator that shows its suffering becomes prey. That instinct didn't disappear just because your cat sleeps on the sofa and eats from a bowl with his name on it. This means everything you're doing wrong, you're doing in silence. He endures it. He won't tell you. He'll come to you in the evening, lie down beside you, and be as quiet as he would be if everything were fine. You won't see the difference. This is why ignorance is more dangerous with cats than with dogs. A dog whines, it communicates. A cat is silent and endures. Always. 5. Xylitol. Here it is. The point that's been promised since the beginning. Because this is about something that, right now, with high probability, is sitting in several spots in your home. Xylitol is a sugar substitute. Natural. It's made from birch bark or corn cobs. For humans, it's safe, even beneficial. It doesn't spike blood sugar, doesn't damage tooth enamel. That's exactly why it gets added to everything. Sugar-free chewing gum, toothpaste, chewable children's vitamins, peanut butter labeled no sugar added, diet cookies, certain health food baked goods, cough drops, mouthwash. For a cat, it's acute poisoning. Xylitol causes a sharp drop in blood glucose, hypoglycemia, that develops within 30 minutes of ingestion. Your cat's pancreas responds to xylitol the same way it would respond to a large amount of real sugar. It releases insulin. But there's no sugar. Blood glucose drops below critical. Then comes liver damage, hepatocellular necrosis. The doses at which this happens are tiny for a cat of any size. Cats are less likely than dogs to go after peanut butter. But they can lick residue of a gum wrapper you left on the counter. They can eat a chewable vitamin that fell and rolled under the fridge. They can reach a tube of kids' toothpaste sitting on the edge of the sink. They can eat a diet muffin you left on a plate. Symptoms: vomiting, loss of coordination, weakness in the hind legs, seizures. They develop fast, without urgent veterinary care, irreversible. Go check the labels on everything in your home that contains sweeteners. Every kind of chewing gum, peanut butter, vitamins, toothpaste. If the word xylitol is on the label, it needs to go somewhere your cat physically cannot reach. Not just put away, inaccessible. 6. Essential oils. You turn on the diffuser because you love the smell of lavender, or peppermint, or because it creates atmosphere, or because someone told you it's natural and healthy. Natural? Yes. Healthy for you? Maybe. For your cat? No. Cats don't have enough of the enzyme glucuronidase transferase in their liver to process phenols and terpenes, the main active compounds in most essential oils. This isn't an allergy, not a sensitivity, not an individual reaction. It's a species-wide physiological reality. A cat's liver simply cannot excrete these compounds. They accumulate. Lavender, tea tree, eucalyptus, peppermint, rosemary, citrus oils, clove, cinnamon, all toxic to cats in concentrated form. A diffuser disperses oil as fine particles into the air. They settle on fur. When your cat grooms herself, which she does for several hours a day, she ingests the oil directly. This happens silently, daily. Acute essential oil poisoning looks like tremors, loss of coordination, drooling, labored breathing, a chemical smell from the mouth. Chronic exposure, cumulative liver damage that produces no acute symptoms for months. The cat just becomes a little less active, eats a little less well, sleeps a little more. You decide he's just getting older. If you use a diffuser, only in a room your cat doesn't have constant access to, with ventilation when he's not in it. Applying essential oils to your skin in places where your cat might lick you is also unsafe. 7. Raw fish. Not tuna. Any raw fish, if it appears in the diet regularly. Raw fish contains the enzyme thiaminase, which destroys thiamine, vitamin B1. Thiamine is essential for normal nervous system function. It's involved in nerve signal transmission and in the energy metabolism of nerve cells. Cats need more thiamine than most other mammals, and internal reserves are depleted quickly. With regular raw fish consumption, thiaminase systematically destroys the small amount of the vitamin that comes in with food. The deficiency builds gradually, weeks, sometimes months. First signs: loss of appetite, lethargy, loss of coordination. Then neurological symptoms intensify. The cat starts walking unsteadily, tilts its head, and in severe cases has seizures and what's called ventroflexion of the neck. The head drops downward, which is one of the classic signs of severe thiamine deficiency. Heat destroys thiaminase. That doesn't mean cooked fish is the ideal part of a cat's diet, but it won't destroy vitamin B1. Raw will. Silently. The symptoms you'll notice are already the late stage of deficiency, when the nervous system is already damaged. Raw fish, remove it. If you want to give fish as a treat, cooked only, no bones, infrequently. 8. Avocado. You buy it for yourself. Thinking about health, healthy fats, vitamin E, all natural. He sits beside you while you cut it. You give him a piece of the flesh. It's not chemicals, it's a fruit. Avocado contains persin, a fungicidal compound the plant synthesizes to protect itself from mold. For humans, it's essentially harmless. For a cat, toxic. It disrupts the function of myocardial cells, reduces the heart muscle's contractile capacity, and causes fluid to accumulate around the heart and lungs. The highest concentration of persin is in the skin and pit. The flesh contains less, but less doesn't mean safe. It means accumulates more slowly. Here's the detail most people miss. The skin and pit usually get thrown in the bin. An open trash can in the kitchen is not an obstacle for a cat who decides to investigate. He doesn't know it's dangerous. He just knows it smells like something you touched. The flesh is also very fatty. Regular fat in the diet stresses the pancreas. Pancreatitis in cats develops slowly and masquerades as ordinary malaise, reduced appetite, occasional vomiting, gradual weight loss. Owners attribute this to pickiness or age. The connection to avocado never comes up, because weeks pass between cause and symptom. No avocado, not the flesh, not the skin, not the pit. And the trash can with a lid. Now count, not days, actions. How many times you put down a bowl of milk because that's what care looks like. How many times you opened a can of tuna because of that look he gave you. How many times you ran the diffuser in the room where he sleeps, not knowing about thiaminase, about glucuronidase transferase, about persin. How much time has passed? You didn't know. That's true, and it matters. Nobody does this on purpose. It's done out of love, out of habit, out of an image that's existed in the culture since childhood. A cat with a bowl of milk. A cat with a bite of fish from your plate. But here's what's left after this list. He came to you all this time, every evening, sat beside you, purred, chose you. The creature who sometimes gave him the wrong thing. Not because he didn't care about himself, because you are everything to him. That's not a metaphor. For a cat that lives in your home, you are his entire world. And he was silent. Not because there was no pain, because silence is all he knows. Do one thing today. Walk through the kitchen. Check the label on the peanut butter. Move the diffuser out of his room. Put a lid on the trash can. 10 minutes. For him, that might mean years beside you. He was silent. Now you know. Leave a comment. Which item on this list surprised you most? And what will you check first? I read every answer. Subscribe. Every video here says what your cat cannot put into words. Next video, 10 things you do every day that your cat experiences completely differently than you think. The first one is about how you talk to him.